Greetings, chosen ones, peace and blessings to you all. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're out there being more than conquerors, doing great things and your communities, for your friends, for your family, all for the glory of God. So today I want to talk about how the chosen ones have always had a lot working against them. And we're still here, we're still moving forward, and that's what we continue to do because we have a purpose, we have a mission, and here's the thing. The average normie out there, right, wouldn't last 5 minutes in your shoes. Give them a day in your shoes, they wouldn't survive, they'd crack up. So that should tell you something, that should tell you how strong you are, right? Because in spite of everything, we keep moving forward, And it feels a lot of the time like, we have, we're wearing lead boots or something, we get up in the morning and it just feels like we're under constant onslaught, constant attacks. Whatever we try and do, it feels like there's a spanner in the works somewhere. It could be through whatever technological devices you use, you'll have problems with that. It could be people, but everything adds up, and you got to understand that we're in a war, right? And it's very real, to the normies that aren't a threat to the system, they're left alone. They're getting their prison privileges, right? We don't get that. We're being, they're trying to break us down bit by bit. I've been at this a long time. When I think back, over life, I see a pattern. You always feel that there's something strange going on. You're under attack. Even from when you were a kid growing up, you just feel like you're being singled out, and you think, am I just paranoid, am I imagining it? But then you realise, no, you're not. The attacks are real. And thing is, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I'm still here, I'm still moving forward. A lot of days, I get up, you have plans, and something you think should take 10 or 20 minutes ends up taking half a day, and it just feels like everything's working against you with that. But you keep going, and you might end up at the end of the day thinking, I'm not making a dent here, all my efforts, the amount of effort I have to put into things, feels like my efforts count for nothing. You've got to know that your efforts are making a difference, even if you don't realise it. You may think you're not making a dent. You're making a massive impact, especially in the spiritual realm. When it comes to spiritual realm, that is everything. That is where the work is done. That is where the impact is made, and then it filters out into the physical, so you don't see your results straight away. You won't see your results immediately in the world. The worldly people, the normies, they operate on a different system. They operate in the physical. So their efforts made in the physical bear physical fruit. But that's all it is, right? Our efforts, although we are engaging in the physical, primarily our work, and our opposition is in the spiritual, So there's a dual battle going on, but primarily, the impact we're making is in the spiritual realm. And eventually that filters out into the physical realm. So, we have to look at things from a different perspective to the average person. We're so conditioned to think the way the world does, we buy into that, and at the back of my mind, I still kind of think like that, and I think we all kind of think like that because we do exist on a physical level. We don't really perceive the spiritual to the same degree we do the physical. So we kind of think, you know, my efforts aren't counting for anything. You know, I'm putting in the efforts, I'm struggling, and I've got nothing to show for it. Just know that your efforts are making a difference. They are making an impact. And if they weren't making an impact, you wouldn't get half of the attacks that you do. You wouldn't have half of the problems you do. If you were having no impact at all, you'd have a life of one of these normies out there. You know, you'd be left alone because they're not a threat. Okay, so this is it. Just keep going, you know, and this is it. Know you are making a difference, because you are making a difference. You know, the war is ramping up, the heat is ramping up, and really, you know, if I think back over my life, you know, it's been ramping up my whole life. You know, it's always been ramping up. You know, and I felt that every year has just gotten a bit more difficult, right? So we know that the war is getting more intense, you know, but we're equipped for it. You know, I'm a person that cannot be broken. I won't be broken by anything, you know, and the powers that be, you know, in the shadows, in the demonic realm, they know that. They're going to make life difficult. They're going to make life difficult for you. They're going to make it as difficult for you as they do for me. But you keep going anyway, because we're stubborn like that, you know. Got a job to do and we get on with it. You know, life here is really a job, and we realise that. We realise that life is a job. Life is a full-time job. You know, it's not about the stuff you do. Just being here is a full-time job, and the impact you make is your full-time job. You know, the effect you have on others around you, the effect you have in the spiritual realm, you know, rubs off on others. You know, there's a lot of people that you know, they're pretty much asleep, you know. I have to say there's probably few left now. I think we're reaching a time when there's not many more who are going to wake up. There's not many more that aren't awake who are going to wake up. So I think we're reaching that point now where we don't know how much more there is to do, but we keep going anyway. Now, at some point there's going to be a breakthrough. You're going to get a breakthrough. Whatever it is you're doing, you know, you've had a lot working against you. I've had a lot working against me. You know, it's been a struggle just to get these videos up. You know, I mean, it's probably the worst time ever in history to start a YouTube channel, but here I am starting a YouTube channel. And it's really not something I'm doing for me. You know, it feels like, you know, the Most High has told me to do that, so that's why I'm doing this. The only reason I'm doing it. I have no desire to be in front of a camera and, you know, go through the stuff I've had to go through just to get the videos up that I have made. You know, I've had all kinds of technical problems. You wouldn't believe, you know, there's a technical problem, I've had it, you know, so just going through that process is pretty exhausting, as is everything in life these days. So, but I keep going anyway. And I encourage you to just keep going. So keep going and know that it is having an impact, it is having an effect. And you might feel it's not worth it, I've got nothing to show for it. You do have a lot more to show for it than you realise. And at some point you will have a breakthrough, you know. So I hope this video has been useful to you today. If you like this video, please like, please share, please subscribe, do leave me a comment below. And I'll see you again on the next video. Bye.